Hello again, guys, and welcome back to another episode here at Z.M.S.C Modelworks. My name is Zach, and we're actually jumping into a full build this time, not just another review. So we have our to-be instructions here for the R35 GTR. We have the instructions here from Hobby Design. Now, like I said, there's not a whole lot of kit pieces that you're actually going to be using from this standard Tamiya kit. So in the instructions here, the stock Tamiya kit would have you start out with the chassis, moving on to all the wheel tubs, all the suspension. You don't use any of this. The only piece we're going to be working on today is our actual chassis plate, and obviously the parts associated with it. So the exhaust manifolds, catalytic converter, and then the support brace here. But of course, we have to modify it. So Hobby Design has clearly laid out here with a template of before and after of what we need to accomplish there. So we're going to go ahead and start modifying this. So it gives us a pretty easy reference here. We're just cutting along this sort of line here. So we'll get that started. What I'm actually going to do is start cutting from this side here, just because it's kind of thick onto the back edge, and we can always cut that off after. We're just going to make a nice clean line there, and we don't need any big fancy saw or blades or anything else like that. We don't need to do guide tape. What we're going to do is just very carefully score the plastic. So I'm just going to get a sharp blade out here, and we're just going to go ahead and lightly score the plastic. And then once we've kind of made an imprint with the blade, then we can go along and just lightly at first begin our cut. So he's done some kind of a light press, a light score mark, and now what we're going to do is just simply bend plastic and break it off. So no fancy saws, no, line straighteners and everything like that. And as you can see here, you just got a nice clean break on that plastic with a little bit of an edge. What we can do is just take a thicker grade of sand stick just to clean that edge up a bit. There we go. Next part as well, I'll just leave this one to after. Same thing for this little tab piece here. All we're going to do is simply guide the knife along that edge already. Again, light pressure, doesn't need to be hard, just a nice new blade. And for those of you that might be wondering, oh, well, I have to save my blades and all this and that, one of the most inexpensive things you can get that will make, excuse me, one of the cheapest things that'll make your life a lot easier is blades. They're a dime a dozen, pretty much, and it costs nothing. You're going to save your fingers a lot of time. I've seen a lot of people with dull blades putting an excessive amount of force in, and then they slip, and their finger's also not in the right place, so they end up gouging into their finger. From a safety standpoint, yes, sharp blades are dangerous. However, I would rather cut myself with a very sharp blade, because the clean cut will allow it to heal faster. With a jagged or a dull blade, you can end up tearing your fingers up pretty bad. So light pressure with a sharp blade and being careful of your hand placement is actually safer than, you know, improper hand placement and a dull blade. So there we go. We've got that piece now. We're just going to support the piece on the back and lightly break and bend off that piece. And again, we'll go with the same process here of just quickly giving it a once over with the heavy grit, just to smooth that out a bit. So we'll take care of this piece afterwards, but we're going to go ahead and just move on to getting the rest of these parts kind of broken off here. So all right, and now that we have our chassis now fully prepared as per the instructions, we're just going to take the body here from Hobby Design, and I'm just going to quickly kind of go over and test fit and make sure everything is kind of going where it's supposed to, and all the tabs here are lining up correctly. So everything should be a good fit from that point. Now, a lot of this won't actually be seen. It is a shame that they went with you know, these bland sort of wheel wells, but you know, not having to cut sprue off plastic is pretty good. So yeah, so that fits in quite nicely. And then what we've also done is we've taken off the two parts that are also going to be going on our chassis here, mainly part number C3, and then our exhaust here, part number D9. There is a little bit of flashing there on the side from where it was cut off the sprue. Focus. And there is a bit of a mold seam line that runs down the sides. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of sand those out with some fine grit, get that down nice and smooth. We're going to prime this. I like that this is you know, natural metallic finish, but we're going to try and go for something a little bit more titanium, because I believe the exhaust system on the actual one is a titanium exhaust. So there'll be a whole lot of masking in here as well. So what I'm gonna do is actually just start off with satin black, kind of like a black primer, but with a little bit of gloss black mixed into it, kind of a custom mix that I've made. So I'm not wasting, you know, expensive semi-gloss black on here, and then just following the Tamiya instructions here, calling for the body color on these parts, black on all the other parts here, and then, you know, complementing the exhaust system all the way around. So I'm going to go ahead and get this done, and then we're going to show you what the chassis should look like all finished. Alright guys, and we have our finished chassis here, all painted. We've done some aluminum here and a darker gunmetal kind of in the middle here. I've used a sort of a stainless steel metalizer color here for the main body color. It's kind of got this bluish hue to it when it hits in the light the right way. I've also gone ahead and painted the exhaust here in kind of a burnt titanium type look, and then the rest of it we've painted all satin. We've got our two parts down here that we've painted in similar colors. We've got our titanium color as well as the body color, and then our heat staining as well. So we're just going to take some thick super glue, kind of doesn't run as much and places a little bit better. Then we're just going to place that down. Like so. It is a shame here that they didn't use an individual exhaust piece. I mean, from Tamiya, just that seam there probably get on some people's nerves, but I'm not too worried about it. You'll notice too the drive shafts underneath, I didn't paint either, and I can honestly say I would not be able to see them even if I really tried, because the exhaust covers most of it. And then we'll just go ahead and throw on our final part here. I believe it goes this way, yeah. Come on. Just slightly getting away from me there. Making a mess while we do it. Cool. So that part's in there now, and yeah, that's pretty much the chassis fully completed now. We made our modifications to the front section, and we confirmed before we started painting that yes, everything did line up correctly in the chassis, and so we're good to go. And that's going to conclude our first episode here in our series on the Hobby Design Top Secret R35 GTR. The next one we're going to move on to is we're going to go on to the interior tub, which is going to involve quite a bit of photo etch, but the color scheme is going to be fairly simple with just this kind of reddish brown highlight and just a black kind of leather interior with a matte black floor, and then some of the accents and carbon accents here on the dash as well. So thanks again for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was a little bit informative if you're deciding to build this kit yourself, and I implore you to go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so when the next video comes out on the interior that you see that one first, and then go ahead to make sure you've subscribed to my Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whichever one you use more, as well, just to get some kind of photo updates here and there as it comes along. So thanks again for watching, guys, and have a great day.